So ever since I discovered from scale trains their Franken-locos, well, they had this one here and then one other one with a conrail door on it. I didn't know that existed until several months ago on review, and I managed to pick up the 5441 here. They're pretty much all sold out, but I was able to find one up in Canada. Paid a little over $300 for it, but it's all sound equipped and everything. But been kind of obsessed with the fact that they use the H1 housing over the engine on this originally H2 paint scheme. And then watching Virtual Railfan came across the 4729 here. And this one has a H2 paint scheme, but a War Bonnet on the hood there. And there's also a little bit of H1 paneling there below the cab. So what I am going to try and do here is I picked up on eBay a Dash 9 in the H3 wedge, number 727, and my plan is to make it the 4729. I got some decals coming from Microscale for the nose there. I'm going to probably put a number 4 in front of the 72, and then I don't know, either patch over the 7 or paint over it, see if I can match it there, and then mask off the middle here and paint it silver. And I got some War Bonnet decals coming, and then since the top here is black and on the prototype it's that kind of dark forest green, I think I'll just use some paint and chalks to kind of weather it, kind of change that change the color to more of a green like on the prototype here. So we'll go over steps here over the next few days or weeks here and see if I can do this. I'm not a professional at doing painting stuff, but I've been watching some other fellas out there with their techniques, and this is something I've been wanting to do since I came across this one locomotive. I do have a decoder coming for it, so I will put a ESU sound decoder, and I'll go through the steps. I've had a person ask about soldering the LEDs and stuff. I won't be having anything special on this one, but just the headlights. But I may go into detail doing the soldering and all that, and then possibly doing another SD45 probably for the Burlington Northern. I got a couple of those. I've been thinking about putting a sound decoder in, so we'll see. If I do, I'll do another tutorial on that. So anyway, we'll continue on here in 1 second. Okay, I have disassembled the shell off the locomotive here to get it ready to tape off. Sorry I didn't show how you pull this apart. I was looking to see if there's any videos out there how to take these two halves apart, and it's a little tricky. So I didn't want to catch myself breaking this thing, but I was able to get it off. But the hardest part is prying. I can get it up close to the camera here. Prying right here, just kind of below the cab. I use a X-Acto blade to kind of separate, the two halves right here. I'm kind of looking at this upside down here. But anyway, you can see these two little the side of the cab here, it kind of snaps in on the handrail assembly. Make sure that you pop the rails there by the cab and the nose there, so you don't tear them off. But yeah, I wanted to remove this so that I can start masking this off to paint this silver here for the War Bonnet part. So we've got that disassembled. Of course, the chassis is here. Oops. And waiting on the decoder to get that ready. So we'll start masking this off here for the silver paint. All right, I got her masked off here. I'm using some good 1/4" masking tape from a paint store, and I don't know what I paid for this. I don't know, probably $5-10 a roll. It's going to last me a lifetime. But anyway, I used that on the inside here to get a good seal. I used a micro brush to kind of get a good tight seal, and then just used some blue masking tape to keep any overspray from going on the radiator or the cab. So I think I'm going to put a coat of dull coat on it, and then we'll start mixing up some silver paint with the airbrush. I have a bottle. It's kind of an old bottle, but I think it's still good. I have some Testors glossy enamel. So I think I might try that. I might try it on some just some scrap styrene and just make sure it's going to work. But anyway, we'll do the silver on there, and then we'll be getting closer to our Franken-loco here. Okay, here we go. All painted silver. Worked really good with my airbrush. Just thinned it with some general purpose paint thinner with the Tester silver, and gave it a quick coat. Tried to go as light as I could so it doesn't hide the detail of the doors and everything. But anyway, I let it dry out here indoors because it's cold in my garage, and then I'm probably going to do a quick coat, dull coat on it, and then get it ready to decal. So there's the silver. Alright, so I have the clear coat on there. It's drying, or should I say dull coat. And I think the next step is I have some Microscale decals here. It's for BNSF renumbered but not repainted diesels. And I've used these on, well, here I might as well show you. SD40-2 that I originally was BN 6792, and I patched it and did the 1792, and I just got done just doing some more weathering, kind of doing some stuff here on the roof there. But anyway, I think my plan next is using the patches here and patching over the 7, the Loco number 727, and I need to make it 4792. So I'm going to add a 4 in front of it, and 97, or correction, 49, whatever. I'll get to it here in a second. The other thing is I just got back from the mailbox, and we got decals from Microscale. And I also got a box here, and it has decoders in it. So good times. Might get some work on this thing done over the weekend. So I'll go off to the next step here. Okay, masking tape's been removed off our shell. We got our silver paint on there. Looks pretty good. Next step, I have masked off the windows. So when I dull coat the cab here, we don't get any overspray and make the windows all cloudy. So my next plan is to do the numbering here. I have some Microscale decals that I'm going to patch over the number on this side and redo it completely, and then add another number 9 here. It's not going to be perfectly centered, but I don't have to have this exactly prototype. I'm just shooting for the best. And the other thing too is that they don't make War Bonnet decals yet, so the ones I have here are going to be a little bit bigger, oversized. But again, not really concerned about that. I just want to get it as close as possible. So those will go on the side. And then the cigar band on the nose, there's a little bit of
orange that's going to penetrate through. I'm afraid that the wedge may be in the path of that, so the other orange decal patch on the Microscale label here, I have it actually cut up into 3 squares here. One to patch over the 7 on one side, and then I have 2 here that I'm going to put on the nose, and so we don't have any of the wedge showing through the cigar band on the nose when I apply that on the nose of the shell here, or the cab. So that's our next step. Okay, so we have decals on. The numbers on this side are all one size. I noticed that the decals on the original shell here were a little bit bigger. So on this side here, they're not quite uniform, but I'm not really striving for exact uniqueness here. And the other thing too is that I didn't mask off for the door. There's a little bit of the door showing actually on this side here. I kind of painted in here with some dark forest green paint, kind of simulate, which it does look like that on this side. The other side I'm not going to worry about it, leave it there. Got the cigar band on the front here. Used a little bit of orange to paint below the nose there. It's not quite the same orange, but it hides the black, which you'd see on the H3 wedge paint scheme. So I'm about ready to go do a coat of dull coat on it, and do a little weathering on the grills here, get them a little darker, some black on them so they stand out like the prototype. And then the next step is getting the wiring done here, and I think I'm going to do separate LEDs for the ditch lights and the headlight so I can isolate the ditch lights. I got some plans for that since I've already got the light pipes out for the ditch lights here on the railing assembly. So that's the next step. Okay, so I have pretty much the shell dull coated here. I got a little more hand painting here. I need to find the holes for the rails here on the nose. And I got the decoder installed. I'm trying some speakers from, I'm going to have to put the exact name from, I think it's SB4 DCC, their speakers here. This is a 9 by 15 millimeter, and it comes with a baffle, and they're very nice and loud, and the price is pretty sweet. They're only about $9. So I also wired this up to do the ditch lights solo. I'm going to see if I can fit the shell in there, because I have an LED with some heat shrinkable tubing that's basically plugged in to the light pipes there. I'm just not sure I can get the LED, the full-size one that I soldered here on the decoder, to fit, to tuck under. We'll find out here shortly. Anyway, it's all programmed and everything. I just did a test. So the next step is to try to get the shell on there. And I need to lubricate the gears here. And so that's where we're at right now. Okay, I went ahead and disassembled the shell here and mixed up some Burlington Northern Green with some Southern Pacific Grammy Black to get kind of a darker green from like the BNSF H2 paint scheme, and taped off the safety stripes and gave it a shot of dull coat, and then airbrushed the green on here, and then another shot of dull coat, and then I also did the radiator here, and then I will probably hand paint the rest of the shell. That's my cat. Here's the cab here. I did a little acrylic brush on the top there, just above the windows, and I was using oil base with it's got acetone in it. Was trying to kind of fill in the patch there, the decal, and it was starting to eat through. So I gave it another coat of dull coat, try to blend that in there so that it matches, because it's a Burlington Northern Green. I want to get a little more close to the rest of it, and then we'll hand brush the top here. I think I did a little bit up here with acrylics earlier at the top. I'm also going to weather it with some chalks. I have some dark forest green chalk coming, so I weather it. That'll help kind of get the green, more of the green showing and less of the black. Okay, I got the shell reassembled. Pulled out the masking tape off of the safety stripes. You might see a little bit of black under it. Kind of leaving it that way for a kind of a patched under effect. And so, yeah, rails are green. I did do a little bit of hand painting on the back here around the lights there. Painted the air hoses kind of a grimy black. And so just waiting on the chalks, and then I'll probably do a little bit of weathering the trucks, the fuel tank. I look at prototype photos, I got some rust and pitting, so we will turn this thing around here. We will do some work on that, and it'll be pretty much finished. So it's kind of what it looks like here. Got the snow plow green. I'll do a little bit of weathering on the front there, a little bit of some dirt and grime down at the base there, and then once I'm all done with that, I'll pull the masking tape off the windshield, just in case I decide to do another clear coat, dull coat finish. Alright, so final touches here. I did put on some, what is it called here? Oh, Monroe Models has this liquid weathering, and brushed that on the trucks and the fuel tank. Added some rust and some pitting, some oil spills there, kind of make it dirty there, and then added a little thinned out black paint on the grills here on the side. And you look at the prototype pictures, they're kind of black. And use some chalks there to get a little more green out of the black there. And weathered the grates on this side too, as well as the trucks and the fuel tank. And put a little bit of weathering on the couplers there. So she's pretty much done. I'm gonna just leave it at that. So this is my version of the Franken-loco. It's pretty close to the real thing, and had a good time doing this. It came out real nice, and it sounds awesome with the decoder, and I plan on running some laps on my layout with it. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks.